Chapter 61 Ye Tiance, what are you hiding from me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hear this, Ji Wuli's eyes twitched and he almost went crazy. Oh shit. Every time at a critical moment, someone would suddenly intervene and delay a good thing. No matter who it is this time, I will ask him to explain it here with Ye Tiance today. Otherwise, where would the Ji family's face be? He raised his head and looked in the direction of the source of the sound. Not only him, but also other guests present looked at him in unison, want to see who is so bold and dares to be so provocative when Ji Wuli is at his most violent. I saw more than 10 people walking in at the door of the banquet hall, although there were not many in number. As soon as they appeared, the aura they exuded suppressed everyone. Because their neat navy blue uniforms made their identities clear, Jiangnan City Law Enforcement Team. These are official personnel, the ones who truly have the power of life and death. The guests present whispered to each other. Let me go, why are the law enforcement teams here? Did someone break the law? Who knows? Even the official people have come forward, and things must have become more complicated. Ji Wuli's expression changed. He didn't expect people from the law enforcement team to come here either. As the saying goes, businessmen do not fight with officials. Even though he is the head of the Ji family, one of the 3 major families, he still has to be polite when facing the law enforcement team. He trotted down the stage quickly. Seeing the leader of the law enforcement team, he was even more stunned. It was discovered that the other party was actually Deputy Director Wang of the Jiangnan City Law Enforcement Bureau. You must know that when a law enforcement team is dispatched, the leader configuration is at most the law enforcement squad leader or squadron leader. The person dispatched this time was actually the Deputy Bureau. It can be seen that their coming here this time is definitely not because of trivial matters. Ji Wuli greeted politely, Deputy Bureau Wang, what kind of wind brings you here? Deputy Director Wang glanced at the hundreds of thugs holding instruments in the banquet hall. He said solemnly, Master Ji, I just heard that you wanted to sentence someone to death. What, are you planning to use lynching and openly challenge the law? Ji Wuli quickly apologized and explained, ouch. Deputy Director Wang was joking. Now in a society governed by law, how can Ji dare to do these things? It's just a joke. He quickly looked at the thugs. Hundreds of thugs understood this, put down all kinds of equipment and hid it behind their backs, and retreated into the crowd. The previous murderous and majestic look was gone. Deputy Director Wang snorted coldly. He said calmly, Master Ji, I came here today not to do legal work, but to find someone. I would like to ask if he is here with you. Ji Wuli asked, oh. Did someone here break the law? What's his name? Deputy Director Wang said, his name is Ye Tiance. The expressions of everyone present changed. Deputy Director Wang personally led the team and actually wanted to find Ye Tiance. Did this guy do something seriously illegal? Xiao Qingcheng's eyes were shocked. She thought that what Ye Tiance had done since filing for divorce had gone too far, but he didn't expect that he would break the law behind his back and even bring the law enforcement team into trouble. What else does he dare not do now? What a disappointment. On the other hand, Ye Tiance himself looked quite calm. Although he didn't understand what the Law Enforcement Bureau was looking for him to do, he had a clear conscience and naturally had nothing to fear. What's more, even if you really want to trouble him, he won't take it seriously either. Of course, the most excited person present was Ji Wuli. I really dozed off and brought a pillow. He originally hated Ye Tiance deeply and wanted to bring him to justice. Now it happens that the Law Enforcement Bureau is targeting Ye Tiance. This time, the Ji family doesn't need to take action. The official will let Ye Tiance see the power of Iron Fist. He smiled and said, Deputy Bureau Wang, you've got it right. Ye Tiance is indeed here. He has an arrogant personality and made a big show at Ji's birthday party. He simply doesn't care about the law. You. Deputy Director Wang looked happy and interrupted. Ye Tiance is really here. Looking at Deputy Bureau Wang's anxious and expectant expression, Ji Wuli became more convinced that Ye Tiance had committed a serious crime. He quickly pointed to Ye Tiance on the stage and said, yes, that bastard is Ye Tiance, but he is rude, violent and rebellious. Deputy Director Wang's forced arrest may cause resistance, but it doesn't matter, as long as you give the order. hundreds of Ji's subordinates will fully cooperate with the arrest. But something unexpected happened. Deputy Director Wang frowned and said seriously, "Who told you that I was going to bring someone to arrest him?" "I brought someone specifically to ask him to leave." Ga. Ji Wuli was confused. All the guests at the main table were stunned. The hundreds of guests present and the Ji family's thugs were stunned. "Didn't you agree that Ye Tiance would be arrested for breaking the law and violating discipline? Why did it suddenly change to please him to leave?" Ji Wuli subconsciously asked, "Deputy Bureau Wang, what's going on? Didn't he break the law and you came to him?" "How could?" Deputy Director Wang said with a straight face, "Master Ji, breaking the law is a very serious matter. We must rely on factual evidence. How did we ever say that Ye Tiance broke the law? I came here this time just to ask him to leave." Forehead. Ji Wuli looked embarrassed and his brain was a little down. Ji Budwan stepped forward and couldn't help but said, "Deputy Bureau Wang, the man named Ji has a grievance with our family that has not been resolved yet, so you just asked him to leave, right?" Although the words were not finished, the meaning was clear. Your law enforcement bureau has the power to take away Ye Tiance, but at least a clear explanation must be given, otherwise where will the Ji family's face be put? Deputy Director Wang replied calmly, "I may not have made it clear. The person who asked Ye Tiance to leave was not our law enforcement bureau, but the order of the city chief. If you have any questions, you can talk to the city chief." What the hell? Ji Budwan's eyes almost popped out. What? Lord Mayor. Ji Wuli's eyelids twitched wildly, and he had a very bad premonition. The guests present were even more shocked. Oh my God! It was actually the city chief who ordered the law enforcement bureau to invite Ye Tiance. Does this guy know the city chief? No wonder this man surnamed Ye has the courage to throw a big birthday party today. It turns out that he has the support of the city chief. What kind of luck does this bastard have that even the mayor of the city can take care of him? For a time, there was constant public opinion in the banquet hall. The big bosses including Han Tianzheng and Li Jingye at the head table looked at Ye Tiance in disbelief. Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan, mother and son, were even more stunned. It was like seeing a ghost. Xiao Qingcheng, who had always been calm, was shocked. She looked at Ye Tiance, her eyes filled with disbelief. No wonder he was so confident before. It turns out that there was already a backer behind him, but when did he meet the city leader? Thinking of this, she subconsciously bit her lips. Ye Tiance. Ye Tiance. Married for 3 years, what are you hiding from me? Chapter 63 Ye Tiance, this is all I, Xiao Qingcheng, can do for you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As we all know, the Rong family is one of the 4 major families in the provincial capital. It is difficult to shake in terms of wealth and power, but every family has sutras that are difficult to recite. The same goes for the Rong family. Nowadays, the current head of the Rong family, Mr. Rong, is old and sick, and many things in the family are left in charge of his 2 sons. This resulted in the eldest son Rong Tianhong and the second son Rong Qianli both vying for the position of the new head of the family. Fight in secret. However, Rong Qianli, who has a smooth and cunning personality, has already won the support of most people in the clan. Although Rong Tianhong has the help of his daughter Rong Meiyan, his influence is still inferior to that of his younger brother Rong Qianli. Based on the analysis of the current situation, the second master Rong Qianli will have a great chance to become the next head of the Rong family. That's why Ji Wuli was so respectful to Rong Qianli. Ji Wuli was answering Rong Qianli's call. While listening, he nodded respectfully and said, "Yes. I understand. I understand. Thank you, master, I will definitely take care of it." After a while, the phone hung up. Ji Wuli had a proud and excited expression on his face and said, "Everyone, Ji has some good news to share." Everyone pricked up their ears. Ji Wuli put his hands behind his back and said in a condescending manner, "Just now, the second master of the Rong family in the provincial capital informed me of good news, that is, Miss Rong Meiyan announced that the business meeting will be held the day after. Tomorrow. The second master will urge Miss Rong to choose our Ji family to become the business partner of the Rong family. In other words, our Ji family has been appointed as partners, and we can only allow Miss to announce it in person at the meeting the day after tomorrow. As soon as these words came out, the guests burst into joy. Liu Ruyan hurriedly stepped forward, he held up his hands and congratulated Ji Wuli and said, "Congratulations to the head of the Ji family. The Ji family you led has become a business partner of the Rong family. It is destiny and strength." Xiaobin also stepped forward and flattered, "The Ji family will definitely take off, and I, Xia, will definitely follow the Ji family forever." There are these two people taking the lead. Not to be outdone, the guests present all expressed their congratulations to Ji Wuli. "If you flatter me, you will naturally get a lot of flattery." "Good. Good. Good." Ji Wuli straightened his back and clapped with satisfaction. In less than 10 minutes, they first learned that Ye Tiance would be dealt with by the city chief, and then learned about the partnership news from the second master. It's a double happiness. Overjoyed, Ji Wuli raised his hand to signal everyone to quiet down. He continued, "The Ji family cannot be where it is today without your support. The second master just said that after our Ji family becomes partners, we are still qualified to recommend other partners to Miss Rong. After all, if we all make money together, you should also encourage us." This time, everyone was given a shot of chicken blood. All kinds of applause and gratitude to Ji Wuli. Ji Budwan showed off to Xiao Qingcheng, "As long as our Ji family mediates it, I believe that with your ability, you will definitely win the favor of Miss Rong. I will recommend you to become a business partner of the Rong family. It's a piece of cake." "Okay." Xiao Qingcheng nodded heavily, her expression returning to its former self-confidence. Although today's birthday banquet was messed up by Ye Tiance, fortunately, the result was good. Just thinking of Ye Tiance, she couldn't help but think of the fact that he was taken away by the city chief. There was a hint of sadness and worry in his eyes. Ji Budwan saw that Xiao Qingcheng was worried, so he asked with concern, "What's the matter?" Xiao Qingcheng shook his head and said, "Huh. It's nothing, it's just. I'm more worried about Grandpa's condition at the hospital. I want to say goodbye first and go over to see him." Ji Bo nodded and said, "That's fine. Anyway, the birthday banquet was spoiled by the man named Yi. Do you want me to give it to you?" Xiao Qingcheng declined politely, "No, I'll go back with my mother and my brother. You should go about your own business first." Ji Budwan was slightly disappointed and said, "That's okay." Xiao Qingcheng's family of 3 left Penglai Pavilion Hotel, while Xiao Nan and Zhang Huilan were going to pick up the car. Xiao Qingcheng called Dean Wu Xingye and said, "Dean Wu, I have something to ask you." Dean Wu asked, "What's the matter?" Xiao Qingcheng hesitated and said, "I heard that the father of the city chief's condition suddenly worsened and his condition is very serious. Can you ask the miracle doctor to help treat him?" Wu Xingye smiled and said, "I didn't expect Mr. Xiao to still care about the family affairs of our city chief. You don't have to worry, the miracle doctor will be here soon to diagnose and treat Mr. Lin. When this is over, I will immediately ask him to go to the hospital to help you. Grandpa, take a look." Xiao Qingcheng said happily, "Excuse me, Dean Wu." After hanging up the phone, Xiao Qingcheng breathed a sigh of relief. Looking into the distance, he murmured, "Ye Tiance, this is all I, Xiao Qingcheng, can do for you. As for the final result, it depends on your personal luck." At the same moment, Yulong Manor in Jiangnan City, in Lin Yuanshuan's ward, bedroom, Lin Wanda was pacing back and forth with her hands behind her back, looking anxious. His daughter Lin Jiaoyang stood in the corner, like a child who had done something wrong. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Wu Xingye advised, "Chief Lin, please don't be anxious. Didn't Deputy Wang just come with the news that Dr. Yi has been found and is on his way back?" Lin Wanda sighed and said, "Oh. Can't you be anxious? My dad's condition is getting worse and worse, and I'm afraid that Dr. Yi will be too late." The voice just fell. There were footsteps outside the door, and it was Deputy Director Wang who led Ye Tiance into the bedroom. "See Ye Tiance." Lin Wanda looked ecstatic and hurriedly took 2 steps forward, grabbed Ye Tiance's hand and said, "Mr. Yi, you are finally here. If it were later, I'm afraid my father would have already." Something suddenly occurred to him, then he expressed satisfaction to Deputy Director Wang and said, "Thank you for your hard work, please step back." Deputy Bureau Wang nodded repeatedly, yes. Then he turned around respectfully and left. There are things you shouldn't know, so don't ask, don't look, and don't listen, otherwise, you will be in trouble. These are the principles he has learned over the past decades. After Deputy Director Wang left, Ye Tiance asked, I clearly rescued Mr. Lin yesterday, why did his condition suddenly worsen? This. Lin Wanda looked embarrassed, then she bravely told the reason. Ye Tiance's face darkened. See this, Lin Xiaoyang, who has always been arrogant, suddenly stepped forward and apologized. Mr. Yi, I'm sorry. It's all my fault for looking down on others and judging a gentleman with a villain's heart. I'm going to slap you now. Please save my grandfather. She raised her hands and stroked her cheeks from side to side. Snap. Both cheeks immediately became red and swollen. Ye Tiance sighed helplessly and said, forget it. It's good that Miss Lin can remember this lesson. Lin Xiaoyang nodded like a chicken. Ye Tiance could see that Lin Xiaoyang was not evil in nature. It was simply because of her favorable living conditions that she developed an arrogant, unruly and willful young lady character. This kind of person should be slapped hard in the face and taught a lesson before she will remember it. After apologizing, Ye Tiance began to check Lin Yuanxuan's condition. At this time, Lin Yuanxuan's face was darkened on the hospital bed, his lips were also blue and purple, and his whole person was lifeless and almost lifeless. Ye Tiance frowned and said, Mr. Lin originally had a small amount of poison left in his body. Because he did not take the medicine according to my prescription, and the stimulation of the two substituted medicinal materials caused the poison to spread rapidly throughout the body, he may lose his life at any time. Lin Wanda's face turned pale and she quickly asked, Dr. Yi, do you have any way to cure my father? Ye Tiance nodded and said, there is a way, but there is a prerequisite. Chapter 64 5 Shapes and 6 Bodies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hear the words, Lin Wanda said seriously. If you have any conditions that divine Dr. Yi has, just ask. As long as you can do it, Lin will try his best to satisfy it. Ye Tiance smiled and said, Chief Lin has misunderstood. I treat illnesses and save people, not for personal gain, let alone Mr. Lin, an old hero who serves the country and the people. The condition I proposed is actually that I want to ask if your family has any herbs that can replenish vitality. Because Mr. Lin will be treated and detoxified later, his body will bear a heavy burden. Given Mr. Lin's age and physical condition, it will not be easy for him to survive. Therefore, herbs that can replenish vitality are needed to maintain Mr. Lin's body. Mayor Lin asked, what medicinal materials are there that can replenish vitality? I will ask someone to prepare it right now. Ye Tiance replied, naturally, the more expensive the medicinal materials, the better, such as Ganoderma lucidum, snow lotus, ginseng, etc. The older the better, but these medicinal materials are not common, and sometimes you may not be able to buy them with money. Lin Wanda's face lit up and she said, what a coincidence. There happens to be a precious herbal medicine in Lin's study. I'll have someone bring it to see if it's suitable. Lin Wanda ordered the servant to fetch a rosewood box from the study. Opened the rosewood box, a light medicinal fragrance wafted out from inside. I saw a ginseng lying inside, more than a foot long, like a sleeping old man, lifelike. Lin Wanda introduced, this is a gift from the king of medicine of Jiangnan when my father had his birthday last year. It is said to be wild ginseng produced in Changbai Mountain. Is it okay for Dr. Yi to treat it? See it, Wu Xingye exclaimed, it's actually wild ginseng. Looking at the shape of this reed, it's at least more than 300 years old. It's really rare. Ye Tiance also observed the ginseng carefully. Generally speaking, when identifying ginseng, pay attention to the 5 shapes and 6 bodies. The so-called 5 elements refer to ginseng's reeds, stalks, bodies, grains, and whiskers respectively, while the 6 bodies are spirit, stupidity, boldness, tenderness, horizontality, and smoothness. The 5 shapes and 6 bodies of the wild ginseng in front of me are very good, and it is a top-quality product. Ye Tiance nodded and said, it is enough. Now it can be treated. Ye Tiance removed the ginseng fibers from the wild ginseng one by one, place it on Lin Yuanxuan's mouth, nostrils, ears and other 7 orifices respectively. Then, he took a silver needle and pricked it on the tanjong point on Lin Wanda's chest. The tail of the silver needle vibrated slightly, as if a cyclone was rolling up. Then, the silver needle was inserted into the next acupoint. In the end, a total of 9 silver needles were inserted. After a while, Lin Wanda and others saw that the black bruises on Lin Yuanshuan's body were fading at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the ginseng whiskers placed on Lin Yuanshuan's 7 orifices began to gradually turn from light yellow to black. Dean Wu couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Yi, what's going on?" Ye Tiance replied, "These ginseng whiskers can not only replenish Mr. Lin's vitality, but also use themselves as bait to absorb the poison from the body. Because poisonous poisons are generally formed from the residues of poisonous insects, precious medicinal materials also have a natural attraction to poisonous poisons." Wu Xingye nodded suddenly. Even though he was a big shot in the traditional Chinese medicine community in Jiangnan City, he had never heard of these strange medical knowledge before. I couldn't help but secretly wonder how such a young Ye Tiance mastered such mysterious medical skills. Let's talk about Ye Tiance. He threw the ginseng whiskers that had absorbed the poison into the trash can, took out new ginseng whiskers, and placed them on Lin Yuanshuan's 7 orifices, continued to detoxify, repeatedly. Half an hour later, treatment is finally over. At this time, Lin Yuanshuan's body had returned to normal blood color, without any trace of death. As Ye Tiance removed the silver needle from his body, Lin Yuanshuan, who was originally in a coma, slowly opened his eyes. He rubbed his dizzy head and asked, "What's wrong with me?" Lin Wanda was overjoyed and hurriedly stepped forward to ask questions and told the whole story. After hearing this, Lin Yuanshuan sighed with emotion. "Oh, Dr. Yi, you saved the old man and me twice in just 2 days. How should I repay such a great kindness?" Ye Tiance smiled and said, "Mr. Lin is too polite. Yi is just doing his best." Despite rejecting all thanks, Lin Wanda still took Lin Jiaoyang with her and bowed 90 degrees to Ye Tiance to express her gratitude. He also sincerely stated that Ye Tiance will be a guest of the Jiangnan Lin family in the future. If you have any needs, the Lin family will do their best to meet them. Ye Tiance just smiled and didn't take it to heart. It's not that he doesn't believe in the Lin family's promise, but relying on his identity, he can do whatever he needs without the help of others. Ye Tiance warned, "Take the medicine according to the prescription I left yesterday. In 7 days, Mr. Lin will be fully recovered. There must be no more mistakes this time, otherwise even I will not be able to do anything." Lin Wanda hurriedly said, "Lin, remember this." At this moment, there were rapid footsteps outside the door. I saw Han Ruoyun running in a hurry and asked, "How is Grandpa Lin? Has Ye Tiance been found? This bastard is so good, why is his phone turned off?" While she was complaining, she saw the scene in the ward. He was stunned for a moment, then he patted the proud chest and breathed a sigh of relief. "Phew. It's okay, Grandpa Lin is fine." She walked over, he patted Ye Tiance hard on the shoulder and said excitedly, "You can do it. You saved Grandpa Lin's life again. How did you do it? Tell me quickly." Ye Tiance glanced at her impatiently. "What's the use of telling you? You're not a medical student. You." Han Ruoyan glared, and his chest heaved with anger. She didn't understand, why did this bastard always have to yin and yang with her every time he met her? So annoying. She glared at Ye Tiance and stopped talking to him. Instead, she went over to greet Lin Yuanshuan. At this time Wu Xingye came over, asked Ye Tiance for discussion. "Mr. Yi, Wu has a merciless request." Ye Tiance had a good impression of the hospital director, then he smiled and said, "Dean Wu, you're welcome. Please speak." Wu Xingye said, "There is a patient in our hospital who was seriously ill due to a sudden attack on his heart. Now his life is in danger. It is only because of Wu's poor medical skills that he cannot be cured, so I would like to ask you to come over and help me. Don't worry, the patient has a good background in Jiangnan City. As long as you are willing to help, you will not be treated badly in terms of remuneration." Speaking of this, Ye Tiance couldn't refuse, so he said, "Since Dean Wu invited me, then you will agree to go and have a look. Let's set off now." Wu Xingye nodded repeatedly. Lin Wanda handed over the remaining wild ginseng. "Divine Dr. Yi, my father has been treated. This wild ginseng left here by Lin is useless. Why not leave it to divine Dr. Ye to treat more patients? But when Ye Tiance was treating Lin Yuanshuan just now, he had consumed all the ginseng roots of the wild ginseng, and now only a bare main root was left. Of course, this is still a precious herbal medicine that has a price but no market. Ye Tiance hesitated, nodded and said, then I'll be disrespectful. Subsequently, Mayor Lin asked Lin Jiaoyang to stay and take care of Lin Yuanshuan. He personally sent Ye Tiance and Wu Xingye to the gate of Yulong Manor. Unexpectedly, Han Ruoyun also followed. He grabbed Ye Tiance's sleeve and said, "Hey, aren't you going to get treatment? Why don't you take me with you?" Chapter 65 Rong Meiyan's Thoughts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Tiance took Han Ruoyun's hand away, asked, "I am going to treat a disease. What are you going to do?" Han Ruoyun said matter-of-factly, "I didn't see the process of treating Grandpa Lin just now, so I want to go to the hospital with you to have a look, otherwise my visit would have been in vain." Ye Tiance rolled his eyes helplessly. "What's so good about this?" Han Ruoyun snorted and insisted, "I'm going to go. Can you take care of it?" Ye Tiance looked helpless. Lin Wanda also smiled. Bitterly, Han Ruoyun had this kind of character. Wu Xingye smoothed things over and said, "Since Miss Han wants to go, let her go." "But Miss Han, please don't delay Dr. Ye's treatment if you go there." Han Ruoyun nodded and said, "That must be done." The director of the hospital had already spoken. What else could Ye Tiance say? I had to agree. Then Ye Tiance got into Wu Xingye's car. Han Ruoyun drove her red Maserati and left Yulong Manor. Lin Wanda was about to turn around and go back. I saw a silver Rolls-Royce Phantom parked. I saw a beautiful woman with a graceful figure wearing a silver cheongsam getting out of the car. She greeted Lin Wanda politely. "Uncle Lin, do you still remember me?" Lin Wanda was a little unsure and asked, "Are you Yan Yan?" The other party smiled and said, "Uncle Lin, it's me, Rong Meiyan." Lin Wanda said happily, "It's really you. I haven't seen you for a few years, and you have grown so big in a blink of an eye. Are your father and your grandfather still okay?" Few people know that Lin Wanda and Rong Meiyan's father, Rong Tianhong, are good friends. He also takes great care of Rong Meiyan. It's just that in recent years, Jiangnan City has been busy with affairs, and Lin Wanda has been unable to leave. "So I haven't seen Rong Meiyan for a long time." Rong Meiyan nodded and said, "My grandfather is still the same, with all kinds of problems. My father is fine. By the way, I heard that Grandpa Lin's condition has worsened, so I came here in a hurry." "How is the situation?" Since Lin Yuanshuan suddenly became seriously ill 6 months ago, the Rong family actually helped a lot, including inviting doctors and delivering medicinal materials. Unfortunately, none of them had any effect. Lin Wanda said with a smile, "Thank God for taking care of me. The old man's illness has been cured by a miraculous doctor. He is currently resting. He will be fully recovered in 7 days." Rong Meiyan breathed a sigh of relief obviously. "It's okay." Then, she said with some embarrassment, "Uncle Lin, Meiyan has a merciless request." Lin Wanda said cheerfully, "With your father's friendship with me, do you still need to be so polite?" "Just say so." Rong Meiyan nodded and said, "Just now at the Ji family birthday party, Deputy Director Wang took away a man named Ye Tiance. I heard that he pretended to be a doctor to treat Grandpa Lin, which caused his condition to worsen. Although this person is at fault, considering that Grandpa Lin's illness has been cured by the miracle doctor, I would like to ask you to be gentle with Ye Tiance and not punish him severely." Rong Meiyan actually didn't have much confidence in interceding for Ye Tiance. After all, Ye Tiance almost killed Grandpa Lin by pretending to be a doctor. Unexpectedly, Lin Wanda smiled and said, "Eldest niece, are you making fun of me?" Rong Meiyan asked confused, "Uncle Lin, I didn't mean that." "What are you?" Lin Wanda smiled and said, "The Ye Tiance you mentioned is the miracle doctor who cured my father's serious illness. Without him, the consequences would be disastrous. Now, divine Dr. Yi is already a guest of our Lin family. It's too late for you, Uncle Lin, not to mention punishing him severely, but to thank him." "What?" For the first time, shock appeared in Rong Meiyan's charming eyes. "You said he, Ye Tiance, is actually a miracle doctor." Lin Wanda nodded and said, "That's right. When you ask me about this person, you still don't know that his medical skills have reached the level of perfection? Rong Meiyan shook her head. In fact, she only met Ye Tiance a few times. I saw that the other party showed superb skills, top-notch calligraphy, and a calm mind. These alone are excellent enough. Unexpectedly, this person is also a miracle doctor. What else can he not do? At this time, Lin Wanda smiled and joked. Yen, you care so much about Dr. Yi, do you have any other meaning? Rong Meiyan quickly denied it. How could it be? I'm just curious about him. Besides, it's not like you don't know my situation. Lin Wanda's expression became slightly serious. He knew that the Rong family had made a marriage contract for Rong Meiyan a long time ago and it could not be changed, and this precisely limits all the emotional possibilities of Rong Meiyan. Of course, the most important thing for Rong Meiyan right now is the struggle for family power, and the challenge is even more dangerous. Lin Wanda seemed to have thought of something. I heard that you are planning to choose a business partner in Jiangnan City. This matter is of great importance and you must be cautious. There is someone I would like to recommend to you. Rong Meiyan asked. Who is it? Lin Wanda said. The actual helmsman of the Tianlong group, the mysterious figure behind Zhao Hailong. Although I don't know this person, I can tell from the clues that his background is extraordinary. If you let him become a business partner, the family will definitely be able to turn things around. Even if it doesn't work, making a friend will benefit a lot in the future. Rong Meiyan sighed and said, to tell you the truth, I went to the Tianlong Group's tendering Chamber of Commerce 2 days ago. Unfortunately, the Chamber of Commerce was cancelled in the end and I didn't meet the big shot. Lin Wanda smiled and said, you can only know everything by trying it. I will help you contact Zhao Hailong and ask the big shot through him. Maybe it can be done. Rong Meiyan said excitedly, thank you, Uncle Lin. Then he asked, is Ye Tiance still here with you? I want to talk to him. I plan to take him back to the provincial capital when I have time to show Grandpa his body. Lin Wanda said, he has just been invited to the hospital for treatment by Dean Wu. If you go over now, you might be able to see him. Rong Meiyan nodded and said, then I'll go over first and visit Uncle Lin's house another day to check on Grandpa Lin's health. Let's talk about Ye Tiance and others. At this time, we have arrived at the First People's Hospital. Ye Tiance had already charged his mobile phone in the car. As soon as I turned on my phone after getting off the car, I received a call from Zhao Hailong. Ye Tiance asked, what's the matter? Zhao Hailong said respectfully, Mr. Yi, just a minute ago, the eldest daughter of the Rong family, Rong Meiyan, contacted me through Mayor Lin and said that she wanted to invite you, as the actual helmsman of Tianlong Group, to participate in the business meeting the day after tomorrow. Do you agree? Ye Tiance was slightly startled. Mayor Lin actually knows Rong Meiyan. However, he didn't think much about it and nodded in agreement, no problem. Yes, the reason why Ye Tiance agreed was because he had always wanted to find Rong Meiyan to cancel the engagement. I had planned to see her at the birthday banquet today, but I didn't expect the other party to directly announce that she wouldn't be able to come. Since the other party now invites me to participate in the business meeting, then I can just go over and complete this matter. Just finished the phone call, Han Ruoyun came over and asked like a curious baby, who are you calling? Ye Tiance replied casually, what's going on with Zhao Hailong? Han Ruoyun rolled his eyes and said, Master Long called you. Do you think you are the big shot behind him? Ye Tiance looked serious and asked, am I not one? Chapter 66 How could Ye Tiance be a miracle doctor? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Han Ruoyun looked Ye Tiance up and down, he curled his lips and said, just you. Forget it. I don't believe it. In her mind, that big shot must be a personable, sunny and handsome domineering president. How could he be such a glib and hateful guy like Ye Tiance? Not to mention, if he was really that big shot, but the Xiao family kicked him out of the house, wouldn't that family be mentally ill? Ye Tiance spread his hands and said, believe it or not. Wu Xingye came over and said, Dr. Yi, after all, you are not a doctor in our hospital. Medical diagnosis and treatment require process backup. I will go to the office to deal with it and come back later. If it's convenient for you, you can go upstairs to the patient ward first. I've already said hello to the family members. Ye Tiance nodded in agreement and learned the specific ward number from Wu Xingye. Go directly upstairs. As for Han Ruoyun, he hesitated and chose to follow Ye Tiance upstairs. On the 5th floor, at the entrance of a high-end ward, boom boom boom. Ye Tiance knocked gently on the ward door, the door opened, and a face that Ye Tiance didn't expect appeared. Xiao Qingcheng. Why you? Why you? That the two of them said almost in unison. Xiao Qingcheng couldn't hide his surprise. Wasn't he, Ye Tiance, taken away because he offended the city chief? Why are you here? Could it be that the miracle doctor hired by Dean Wu had already cured Mr. Lin, so he let Ye Tiance go? That must be it. On the other hand, Ye Tiance was also surprised. Did Dean Wu tell the wrong ward? Just when Ye Tiance and Xiao Qingcheng stared at each other, in the ward, Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan also walked out. Behind the two people, there were several relatives and friends of the Xiao family standing. Zhang Huilan's eyes almost popped out. Didn't you ask the city chief to send Deputy Bureau Wang to arrest you? Why are you back? Xiao Nan said vigilantly. This guy must have absconded out of fear of crime. He's so brave, I'll call the police to take him back right now. Ye Tiance frowned and said, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. Why did he abscond out of fear of crime for no reason? Zhang Huilan curled her lips and said, you're still pretending, right? Didn't you pretend to be a doctor to treat the father of the city chief yesterday, causing his condition to worsen and his life to be in danger? In the end, the city chief was so angry that he sent Deputy Director Wang to arrest you. Xiao Nan said, Mom. Don't talk nonsense to him. I think he made a big mistake and was desperate. That's why he came to help us. We can't get involved with him. Once the city chief knows about it, our Xiao family will be in trouble. Got it. Makes sense. Zhang Huilan pushed Ye Tiance hard and scolded, get out of here, you idiot. We, the Xiao family, don't want to have anything to do with you. After hearing this, Ye Tiance understood the whole story of their matter. He said coldly, you two are responsible for spreading rumors. Have I, Ye Tiance, ever harmed Mr. Lin? Zhang Huilan glared and said, you fart. Where did I make the rumor? Everything is the truth, it's not your turn to quibble. Qingcheng, we can't talk, so hurry up and get rid of this trash. The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also tried to persuade Xiao Qingcheng, ask her to send Ye Tiance away quickly. Xiao Qingcheng sighed and said solemnly, Ye Tiance, I don't care how you escaped. I just want to remind you that there is no end to the sea of suffering and you will never come back. Hurry up to the city chief to apologize and seek leniency. Don't make the same mistake again and again. Xiao Qingcheng thought that his kind reminder would impress Ye Tiance. Unexpectedly, the other party shook his head and sneered, President Xiaoda, when will you get rid of your self-righteousness? Xiao Qingcheng frowned and said displeased, you mean I wronged you? Okay. If you have the ability, you can come up with evidence to prove your innocence. If you can produce it, can't I apologize to you? It's a pity that no one can testify for you. At this time, a voice sounded from behind Ye Tiance, I can testify that Ye Tiance is innocent. The person who spoke was none other than Han Ruoyun. See Han Ruoyun, a flash of surprise flashed in Xiao Qingcheng's eyes, how come she appears here? On the other hand, Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan had never met Han Ruoyun before, nor did they know her. Everyone was shocked by Han Ruoyun's beauty and temperament. Especially Xiao Nan, he couldn't move his eyes away. How nice would it be to take such a beautiful girl home as my wife? Han Ruoyun stared at Xiao Qingcheng, but there was some inexplicable hostility in her heart. Then he said with a hint of provocation, I can prove that Ye Tiance is innocent. Mr. Xiao, you should apologize to him, right? Xiao Qingcheng looked a little embarrassed. At this time, Zhang Huilan said angrily, who are you? What qualifications do you have to testify? Han Ruoyun introduced lightly, my name is Han Ruoyun, the eldest lady of the Han family in Jiangnan. Am I qualified to testify? Ga. Zhang Huilan was confused. Xiao Nan and the relatives and friends of the Xiao family behind him were also stunned. This beautiful woman is actually Han Ruoyun, the eldest daughter of the Han family. As we all know, the financial status of the Han family in Jiangnan is far stronger than that of the Xiao family. as the eldest lady of the Han family, Han Ruoyun's status is obviously more noble than theirs. She is not qualified, so who is? Xiao Nan was very reluctant. How could Han Ruoyun speak for Ye Tiance? Could it be that Ye Tiance really succeeded in recruiting a bride and became Han Ruoyun's fiancé? But he had never heard this news from anyone in the past few days. Xiao Qingcheng frowned and said, Miss Han, you keep saying that you can prove Ye Tiance's innocence. Do you have any evidence? Han Ruoyun replied calmly, because I just came out of the city capital's house and confirmed that Grandpa Lin is out of danger, and the person who treated him is Ye Tiance. Don't you know? The expressions of Xiao Qingcheng's family of three changed. The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also looked incredulous. Ye Tiance actually saved Mr. Lin. How can this be? Zhang Huilan was the first to deny it. You are talking nonsense. Ye Tiance is just a waste who eats and drinks. How can he cure diseases? Xiao Nan didn't believe it at all. You are lying at first glance. We don't know what kind of virtue Ye Tiance is. He actually used such lies to deceive us and think that we are fools. The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also shook their heads. Ye Tiance had been living and drinking in their Ji family for 3 years. How could they not know what kind of virtue he had? At first glance, it was Han Ruoyun and Ye Tiance who were deliberately acting. Han Ruoyun was so angry. She was obviously telling the truth, so why didn't anyone believe her? At this moment, she couldn't help but feel sympathy for Ye Tiance. Having been the son-in-law of the Xiao family for 3 years, I must have endured a lot of grievances and distrust. Ye Tiance said to Han Ruoyun, you don't have to explain for me, and I don't need their trust. He then said to everyone in the Xiao family, since I happen to be here today, can you let me visit Grandpa by the way? Zhang Huilan's face sank and she stopped in front. He cursed and said, you trash, how dare you say this? If it weren't for your recent unfaithful behavior, would the old man be so angry that he becomes seriously ill? Now he has been declared critically ill and may not be able to survive at any time. Ye Tiance's expression changed. What? I remember that when he came here a few days ago, he said that Mr. Xiao was out of danger and would be fine if he rested for a while. How come it has only been a few days and the situation has become so serious? There was a trace of determination in his eyes. Let me in, I have a way to cure him. Xiao Qingcheng stretched out his arm to stop Ye Tiance. She said in a dissatisfied tone, Ye Tiance, are you done yet? You've lied too much. Do you really think you're a miracle doctor? Leave quickly, you're not welcome here. The voice just fell. Wu Xingye walked quickly from the other end of the corridor. He looked dissatisfied and said to Xiao Qingcheng, Mr. Xiao, I finally asked Dr. Yi to treat the Xiao family head. Why did you drive him away? Today, I must give an explanation to Wu. Chapter 67 I agree to let him try. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Xiao Qingcheng's eyes widened, surprised. Dean Wu, what did you say? He is the miracle doctor you hired for me, Wu Xingye said seriously. Yes, he is the Dr. Yi that I mentioned earlier. He was the one who cured Mr. Lin. You don't treat me politely, but you want to drive him away. Boom. This sentence is like a thunder, shocking to the extreme. Xiao Qingcheng was stunned. Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan, mother and son, were confused. The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family were also confused. Zhang Huilan shook his head and said, impossible. This is impossible. Dean Wu, are you mistaken? He, Ye Tiance, has been living in our house for 3 years and is just a good-for-nothing son-in-law. Now he has been kicked out of the house by our Xiao family. How can he be a miracle doctor? Wu Xingye was stunned. Only then did he know that Ye Tiance and the Xiao family actually had such a relationship. Good guy. It seems that I have done something bad with good intentions. He said awkwardly to Ye Tiance, Dr. Yi, it's my fault for not thinking carefully about this matter. I didn't know about your relationship. I'm really sorry. Ye Tiance waved his hand and said, it's okay, Dean Wu, you don't have to apologize. He also didn't expect that the patient introduced by Wu Xingye was actually Xiao Hongming. What a coincidence. At this time, Xiao Nan mocked, Ye, can you stop this pretense? I don't care what means you, a loser, used to deceive Dean Wu, we don't believe you have medical skills anyway. That the rest of the Xiao family also nodded. Wu Xingye said seriously, do you have any misunderstandings about Dr. Yi? His medical skills are the only one Wu has seen in his life. Only he can save the head of the Xiao family. Xiao Qingcheng shook his head and said, Dean Wu, I, Xiao Qingcheng, trust you, so I asked you to find a miracle doctor, but, this result really disappoints me. I have been married to Ye Tiance for 3 years. I know exactly what he is capable of. You must have been deceived by him. After saying that, she glared at Ye Tiance impatiently. She couldn't figure it out. Ye Tiance actually deceived Dean Wu with all his tricks. There is really no cure. Wu Xingye shook his head in anger. You and your family, alas. Han Ruoyun on the side rolled his eyes. He couldn't help but complain to Ye Tiance. It's been really hard on you these past 3 years, meeting such a wonderful family. Ye Tiance just smiled bitterly. He was used to this kind of misunderstanding and belittling. Xiao Nan continued to say arrogantly, Dean Wu, we in the Xiao family can understand your desire to save people, but we will never allow that waste to go in for treatment. Moreover, just now, my sister has contacted Mr. Ji and asked him to ask Taoist Yunlong who has returned from traveling to treat my grandfather. With him here, there is no surprise. Taoist priest Yunlong. Wu Xingye was very surprised. He knew that this man had a prominent reputation in Jiangnan City many years ago, and his medical skills had reached the pinnacle. However, he also heard many negative stories about this person's medical skills. Xiao Nan glanced at Ye Tiance again and threatened, the second young master Ji who was injured by you is also hospitalized here, and many people in the Ji family are taking care of him. You better be lucky that you don't get caught by them, otherwise you may not be able to bear the old and new grudges accumulated at the birthday banquet. Ye Tiance looked indifferent. Just let them come. Xiao Nan sneered, ha. It's a pretense. Xiao Qingcheng said, Dean Wu, you should take them away. No matter what, I thank you for your hard work during this time. As for my grandfather's illness, leave it to Taoist Yunlong. Dean Wu shook his head helplessly. I didn't expect that after helping to organize it for a long time, the final result would be like this. Then he said to Ye Tiance, Dr. Yi, I'm really sorry that I made your trip in vain. But that's it. Ye Tiance suddenly felt something. The pupils shrank suddenly. He said seriously to Xiao Qingcheng, Grandpa's condition is very bad, let me in quickly, otherwise his life will be in danger. Hear the words. Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan looked at each other and said unhappily, what did you say, you loser? When we came out just now, the old man's condition was still very stable, not to mention that there were nurses taking care of him. How could his life be in danger? Shut your crow's mouth. Xiao Qingcheng was also disappointed and said, Ye Tiance, when will you mature? Using this little trick to attract my attention will not only not make me regret filing for divorce, but will make me hate you even more. Just as she finished speaking, in the ward behind you, the alarm bell suddenly sounded. Everyone was shocked. What happened? A nurse suddenly hurried out of the ward and said in a panic, It's not good. It's not good. Master Zhao's physical condition has suddenly deteriorated, and all vital indicators have dropped sharply. How could this be? Xiao Qingcheng was shocked. Subconsciously, he glanced at Ye Tiance and saw his serious and confident expression. I couldn't help but feel my heart tremble. Was he actually right? The situation was urgent and she didn't have time to care about so many details. He quickly turned around and entered the ward with everyone in the Xiao family. Dean Wu asked, Dr. Yi, do you think so? Ye Tiance said, let's go in too. Mr. Xiao Hongming has always taken great care of him, and he can't just let him go regardless of circumstances or reasons. After everyone entered the ward, seeing Xiao Hongming on the hospital bed, his face was haggard and his breathing was very weak. The indicators of various medical equipment indicate that the old man's condition is very serious. Xiao Qingcheng said anxiously, Dean Wu, didn't you say how many more days my grandpa can last? Why did it suddenly deteriorate? Wu Xingye said solemnly, the Xiao family is old after all, and the condition is not easy to control. It is normal for it to suddenly deteriorate. In short, the current situation is not optimistic. Xiao Qingcheng's delicate body trembled. 6 gods have no master. Zhang Huilan reminded, girl, please call Mr. Ji quickly and ask him when Taoist Master Yunlong will arrive. Okay. I'll fight now. Xiao Qingcheng took out her mobile phone and went outside the corridor to make a call. At this time, Ye Tiance looked at Xiao Hongming, who was in serious condition, with a worried look on his face. Seeing this, Zhang Huilan curled her lips and said, Yi, don't show such a hypocritical look. Get out of here and stand here while we watch. Ye Tiance was about to reply. Xiao Qingcheng walked in with a disappointed look on his face and said, young Master Ji said that Taoist Yunlong just got off the plane and it will take at least an hour to get to the hospital. Wu Xingye shook his head and said, an hour is too long. The Xiao family master's body can't last that long. It's a pity that Wu can't help. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the Xiao family present was anxious. Xiao Hongming is the head of the Xiao family and the backbone of everyone. If something goes wrong, the future of the Xiao family will be dark. Even Xiao Qingcheng, who has always been cold and calm, at this time, their eyes were red and they were at a loss. At a critical moment, Ye Tiance said, everyone, calm down, I can save Grandpa. Zhang Huilan scolded, trash, can you stop bragging? How long has it been? Are you still dreaming about your miracle doctor? Xiao Nan was unhappy and said, you can save me. As long as I'm here, don't even think about touching Grandpa. Other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also yelled and blocked him. Ye Tiance will never be allowed to treat his illness. But this time, it was beyond everyone's expectations. Xiao Qingcheng's eyes flashed with determination. Biting his lip, he said, I agree to let Ye Tiance give it a try. Chapter 68 done. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Nan said anxiously, sister, he is just a waste. He is not even a doctor. Why do you? Xiao Qingcheng interrupted, just because I agree to let him try it doesn't mean that I believe him, but do we have any other options now? If you don't agree, you either come to treat Grandpa or shut up. Xiao Nan shrank his neck and said nothing. Xiao Qingcheng and Ye Tiance looked at each other and said seriously, you keep saying that you have medical skills, so I will give you a chance now. I hope you will not betray my trust. Ye Tiance responded with a sneer, When you say the word trust from Mr. Zhao's mouth, I will only think it is sarcastic. I'd better not say it again in the future. Xiao Qingcheng was choked and speechless. Ye Tiance stepped forward and carefully examined Xiao Hongming's body. Zhang Huilan said angrily, Humph. I've finished the pretense of checking. What do you think? Are you going to find a reason to say that the old man's condition is serious and even the great Luo immortal can't save him, so you can't help him, right? The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also sneered. Obviously he didn't take Ye Tiance seriously. On the other hand, Ye Tiance said calmly, just because Daluo immortal can't save people doesn't mean that I, Ye Tiance, can't save them. To the ears of Xiao Nan and others, this sentence was like a fantasy. He mocked disdainfully, if you can save and cure Grandpa, I, Xiao Nan, will kneel down and apologize to you. Ye Tiance sneered, remember what you say now, and don't regret it when the time comes. He asked for silver needles from Wu Xingye, quickly pierced Xiao Hongming's body acupuncture points. Tanzhong Point, Jianqi Point, Zhongwan Point, in one breath, a total of 18 silver needles were inserted. Xiao Nan frowned, Yi, do you know any medical skills? Do you want to kill Grandpa by inserting so many needles into him? Zhang Huilan pulled an old face and said, the old man is already dying, do you have any conscience in treating him like this? Other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also complained. Xiao Qingcheng frowned, he said in a deep voice, shut your mouths. Regardless of whether he can do it or not, can't we wait until it's over? The ward immediately became quiet. Xiao Qingcheng's eyes kept falling on Ye Tiance and Xiao Hongming, and never moved away. In fact, she didn't believe that Ye Tiance had any medical skills to save her grandfather, but, thinking about Han Ruoyun and Dean Wu trusting him so much, maybe it's really that 1 in 10,000 chance. Therefore, she had no choice but to take a gamble. Ye Tiance turned a deaf ear to these little episodes. He ordered Wu Xingye, Dean Wu, please support and open Grandpa's mouth. It is good. Wu Xingye hurriedly followed the instructions, while quietly observing Ye Tiance. What exactly was he planning to do to save Xiao Hongming? Ye Tiance took out the wild ginseng from the box he carried with him, lift up his left hand and place it more than 3 inches above Xiao Hongming's mouth, hold the main root of wild ginseng with your right hand and activate the dark energy. As waves of dark energy are injected into the wild ginseng, the most essential parts of the ginseng are stimulated by the dark energy and begin to slowly overflow along the roots of the ginseng. Taking a closer look, the essence is shaped like water droplets, golden yellow, rippling with life around. See it, Wu Xingye couldn't help but exclaimed, this is actually the essence of ginseng, my god. He was very excited. Han Ruoyan asked in confusion, Dean Wu, what is ginseng essence? Dean Wu explained, as the name suggests, ginseng essence is the liquid formed from the most essential part of ginseng, but the extraction process of this essence is very difficult and extremely rare. Therefore, most people who use ginseng choose to take it directly or crush it, but in fact most of the nutrients and essence are lost, and the effect is much worse than taking ginseng essence directly. I have been practicing medicine for decades and have only seen ginseng essence once with my own eyes, but I didn't expect to see it again today. I didn't even expect that Dr. Ye's method of extracting the essence was so ordinary. Simply unheard of. Xiao Qingcheng bit her lip and stared at Ye Tiance intently. Could it be that he really knows medical skills? Xiao Nan, on the other hand, said disdainfully, "Tch. Is this ginseng essence really that magical?" Dean Wu said solemnly, "Of course. Normally, a wild ginseng can accumulate 1 drop of essence every 100 years. Every drop has the effect of strengthening the body and reviving the dead. If the Xiao family leader is allowed to take a drop of ginseng essence, this disease can be cured for most of it." Xiao Nan rolled his eyes, obviously still not believing it. More than half a minute later, at the bottom of the main root of wild ginseng, a complete drop of ginseng essence is finally formed. Then, affected by gravity, it fell into Xiao Hongming's mouth. As for the wild ginseng, it seemed that it had lost all its aura at this moment. It began to wither and collapse at the speed of the naked eye, becoming dry, no different from a dead branch. Ye Tiance threw it into the trash can. Wu Xingye asked in confusion, "Why did you throw it away?" Ye Tiance said, "All the essence has been taken out." "If you don't throw it away, why don't you take it back and use it as firewood?" Wu Xingye shook his head and said, "That's not what I meant, but I want to ask, this wild ginseng is 300 years old. In theory, it should extract 3 drops of essence. Why is there only 1 drop?" Ye Tiance explained, "Logically speaking, there should be 3 drops of essence. It's just that all the ginseng was consumed when treating Mr. Lin at the first hospital in Lin City. Although ginseng is small in size, it is easier to absorb nutrients and is where most of the essence lies, so I am lucky to be able to extract this drop now, but it is enough." Wu Xingye suddenly understood, stood up and said respectfully to Ye Tiance, "Thank you, divine Dr. Yi, for your generous advice." Next, Ye Tiance flicked the tails of all the silver needles with his fingers. It's like playing the piano poetically, very elegant. And those 18 silver needles trembled slightly, stimulating the rapid and full absorption of the ginseng essence into the body. In fact, it is the most critical step in the treatment process. Apart from his master, the only one in the world who can do this is Ye Tiance. About 3 minutes later, Ye Tiance then stopped and skillfully removed all the silver needles. He took a deep breath and said, "It's done." Everyone present looked at each other. Xiao Qingcheng asked, "Is this the end?" Ye Tiance nodded. Xiao Nan stepped forward and pushed Ye Tiance, scolding, "Yi, do you think we are fools? Is this cured?" "How can it be cured?" Zhang Huilan also scolded, "You have been gesticulating for a long time," but the old man didn't wake up. "Is this considered the end of the matter?" The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also made various comments, thinking that Ye Tiance was playing tricks on them. At this moment, even Xiao Qingcheng's face looked uncertain. To be honest, he didn't believe in Ye Tiance's medical skills at all, but just now Dean Wu was so supportive of Ye Tiance and said something about ginseng essence, which made her feel a little bit hopeful. What if Ye Tiance really succeeded? But I didn't expect that the final result would be such a shocking one. Yes. Hasn't he always been so disappointing? Xiao Qingcheng took a deep breath and said with a cold face, "Grandpa takes such good care of you, but you use such ridiculous tricks to treat him. In my opinion, you are an insult and blasphemy to my grandfather. Before I get angry, you immediately disappear from my eyes. I don't want to see you again." However, the words just fell. On the hospital bed, Xiao Hongming, who was almost lifeless, suddenly started coughing. The data indicators of various medical devices at the bedside, it is also returning to normal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Just half a minute later, Xiao Hongming slowly opened his eyes. Chapter 69. Ye Tiance, has no medical skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This scene made all the Xiao family members present stunned. The old man was actually cured. Isn't this a dream? Everyone's eyes fell on Ye Tiance. At this moment, their expressions were so unbelievable. Of course, while shocked, there is also unstoppable embarrassment. After all, Ye Tiance has been ridiculed by them, looked down upon by them, and mistrusted by them. He is really a miracle doctor. This kind of slap in the face is solid. When everyone was shocked, Xiao Hongming said slightly weakly, "I am still alive. Who saved me?" "The person who saved you is actually." Everyone in the Xiao family looked at each other and hesitated. However, Han Ruoyun, who had been watching, immediately felt confident. Unhappy said, "Humph. I just said that Ye Tiance is a miracle doctor, but you just don't believe it, so what can you say now?" That Wu Xingye also hated the fact that iron cannot be made into steel and said, "I've been telling you sincerely, but you just don't believe it. Now you can prove that I'm not wrong, and Dr. Yi didn't lie, right?" That everyone in the Xiao family blushed, and they were so embarrassed that they wanted to crawl into the cracks in the ground. They couldn't understand it. How could a loser who had been living around the Xiao family for 3 years become a miracle doctor in the blink of an eye? Especially Xiao Qingcheng, she felt her face was burning. Thinking of the scene where I questioned and denied Ye Tiance at the door just now, I felt a deep sense of self-blame. He no longer had the courage to look at Ye Tiance. At this moment, what made her even more uncomfortable was that she found out that she had divorced Ye Tiance. In just a few days, he showed another side that he had never seen in 3 years: fighting, calligraphy, medical skills. What else is he hiding from me? Thinking of this, her mood became mixed. At this time, Xiao Hongming, who was in the hospital bed, heard Han Ruoyun and Wu Xingye complain. Naturally, he learned that the person who treated him was Ye Tiance. Apart from being shocked, I was even more delighted. He sat up and said excitedly, "Tiance, it turns out you saved Grandpa. I saw you right. You are indeed very good." Ahem. In excitement, he couldn't help coughing. His eyes were filled with relief. Ye Tiance stepped forward, patted Xiao Hongming's back gently and said, "You have just recovered. Don't get excited and hurt your body again." That Xiao Hongming nodded. He seemed to have made a decision. He said earnestly to Xiao Qingcheng, "Qingcheng, it was Tiance who saved me this time, which shows that he still cares about our Xiao family very much. I have always felt that there must be some misunderstandings between the two of you, and you should sit down and have a good communication. Therefore, you should let go of your divorce from him." The expressions of everyone in the Xiao family present changed slightly. The old man supported Ye Tiance, which was the last thing they wanted to see, but in this matter, it was not their turn to speak. He could only look at Xiao Qingcheng. "Her thoughts are the most important." Xiao Qingcheng glanced at Ye Tiance and then at Han Ruoyun. An indescribable unknown fire surged into my heart. She clenched her fists and said firmly, "Grandpa, I have thought deeply about the decision to divorce and I will not give in." Hear the words. Ye Tiance also said calmly, "I support Mr. Zhao's decision to end this marriage. It will be good for both of us." That this is also what he thinks. However, the relatives and friends of the Xiao family felt that Ye Tiance was looking for dignity for himself. "How can you be willing to end this marriage when you are just eating and drinking in our Xiao family?" So Xiao Nan said disdainfully, "Tch. Why don't I believe you? Do you really want a divorce?" That Ye Tiance glanced at him and said, "You didn't believe that I could save Grandpa just now, and you said that as long as I could do it, I would kneel down and apologize. Why, you forgot." Xiao Nan blushed and shut up in embarrassment. Xiao Hongming was a little surprised and asked Ye Tiance, "Do you really think so?" Ye Tiance nodded affirmatively. "Seriously?" Hearing this, Xiao Qingcheng's eyes trembled slightly. no attitude was expressed. However, Zhang Huilan took the opportunity and said, "Dad. Look, since this loser has said this, don't insist on supporting their divorce. Besides, if you let this kind of waste continue to live with Qingcheng, isn't this delaying her future?" Xiao Hongming glared and shouted, "Open your eyes and take a closer look. Tiance has such advanced medical skills that he can even save my life. Where is the waste? Where is the delay in Qingcheng? People like him are considered trash, so look in the mirror and see who you are." Zhang Huilan's face turned red after being scolded, and she didn't dare to fart. The relatives and friends of the Xiao family did not dare to interrupt, because what the old man said made sense. Ye Tiance was now a miracle doctor, and his status was not as good as before. It would be beneficial and harmless for Xiao Qingcheng to continue to be married to him. But this time, a sudden voice sounded outside the door, "Master Xiao, how can that man named Ye know any medical skills? It's obviously a blind cat and a dead mouse. It's a complete coincidence." Everyone turned to look at the door. I saw 3 people slowly walking into the ward. One of them is a familiar face, Ji Budwan, the remaining 2 are old men wearing Taoist robes and looking like Taoist immortals. Among them, the one wearing a lotus crown is Taoist Master Gongsun, the other one has a relatively stooped figure, white beard and hair, and looks older. The whole person stood there, as if he was arrogant and regarded all living beings as ants. The person who just spoke was none other than Ji Budwan. Seeing him, Han Ruoyun curled her lips and said, "Ji Budwan, what do you mean by this?" It was clearly Ye Tiance who was treating illnesses and saving people just now. "How could a blind cat kill a mouse?" Ji Budwan sneered, "Miss Han, these words were not said by me, but by Taoist Yunlong next to me." As he spoke, he pointed to the rickety Taoist priest next to Taoist Gongsun. Everyone in the Xiao family was shocked. Zhang Huilan hurriedly stepped forward, showed a respectful smile and said, "It turns out to be the famous Taoist Master Yunlong. If you are not welcome from afar, please take a seat." However, Taoist Master Yunlong raised his hand to refuse and said calmly, "No need." Then, his eyes fell on Ye Tiance. He chuckled and said, "Young man with a yellow mouth, you cure diseases and save people, do good deeds and accumulate virtue, but you talk nonsense. Aren't you afraid of being punished by God?" Ye Tiance's pupils shrank. This old man, for no reason, aimed the artillery fire at himself. He glanced at Taoist Gongsun who looked proud. Suddenly, it seems that this is a pair of pants worn by the senior fellow apprentice. He asked, "You are an old man, saying that I don't have medical skills, and then saying that I am full of nonsense. Where do you start?" The rest of the people present also looked at Taoist Yunlong curiously. They all saw with their own eyes that it was Ye Tiance who saved Mr. Xiao. "Why do you say he doesn't have medical skills?" I saw Taoist Master Yunlong stroking his beard. Feng Qingyun said calmly, "Because the person who cured the Xiao family master's disease was Pin Dao." Chapter 70. Stop being so aggressive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Taoist priest Yunlong's words are like one stone stirring up 1,000 waves. Relatives and friends of the Xiao family subconsciously expressed doubts. "Are you talking nonsense like this? You were not in the ward just now. How did you cure the master's disease?" "That's right, you can eat randomly, but you can't talk nonsense." It's not just them. Even Xiao Nan and Zhang Huilan were speechless. He glanced at Ji Budwan helplessly. "I think we support you, Mr. Ji, to refute Ye Tiance, but can you find someone more reliable?" Young Master Ji confidently explained. "What Taoist Master Yunlong said is true. He was indeed the one who treated the Xiao family master. When Qingcheng called me earlier, Taoist Yunlong had just gotten off the plane. I was originally worried that I wouldn't be able to get over in time, but Taoist Yunlong said that it wouldn't be a problem and that he had his own way." Some relatives and friends of the Xiao family asked, "What can we do?" Taoist Master Gongsun took over and said, You may not know that my senior brother's medical skills in saving people have reached a state of perfection. My senior brother performed Taoist magic directly on the car and performed long-distance treatment, and this was how the Xiao family leader was cured of his serious illness. What does it have to do with Ye Tiance? It's just a coincidence." These words caused everyone in the Xiao family present to look at each other. Use Taoist remote air therapy. Listen to this. Why is it so magical? Even Xiao Hongming himself shook his head and didn't believe it at all. Taoist Master Gongsun continued, you may think that the poor Taoist is exaggerating. In that case, I will ask my senior brother to give it a try and demonstrate it, and then you can distinguish the true from the false. After speaking, Taoist Gongsun clasped his fists at Taoist Yunlong. He said respectfully, senior brother, please take action and let them see your methods. Taoist priest Gongsun stroked his beard, he said with a profound look, Pindao has been traveling for more than 10 years. Unexpectedly, some people in this small Jiangnan city have forgotten Pindao's methods. Forget it, just do some simple exercise. He walked to the hospital bed and said to Xiao Hongming, stretch out your right palm and spread it out. Although Xiao Hongming was puzzled, he still obeyed. Taoist priest Yunlong bit off his right index finger and quickly scrawled a pattern similar to a talisman on the palm of Xiao Hongming's hand. There are words and incantations in his mouth. Gradually, Xiao Hongming felt a heat appear in the center of his right palm, and quickly spread along his right arm to his whole body. As soon as this heat reaches the place, all the pain and fatigue disappear. In fact, the body is bursting with endless strength. At the same time, the rest of the people in the ward also noticed Xiao Hongming's changes. Xiao Nan couldn't help but exclaimed, look, Grandpa's face seems to have turned rosy. It's amazing. The other relatives and friends of the Xiao family also exclaimed. Yeah, I looked very weak just now, but now I look even more energetic than when I wasn't sick. Is this Taoist Master Yunlong's method? It's so amazing. My eyes have been opened. So it is true that Master Zhao's illness was cured by Taoist Master Yunlong, and Ye Tiance just happened to take the credit. After a while, Taoist Master Yunlong let go of Xiao Hongming's hand and stopped reciting the incantation. Asked, Master Xiao, please move your body. How do you feel now? Xiao Hongming moved his body briefly and felt more relaxed and comfortable than ever before. He answered truthfully, I feel so comfortable all over my body, and even the chest tightness and shortness of breath that I had before are gone. He asked uncertainly, Taoist Master Yunlong, did you really cure Zhao's illness? Taoist Master Yunlong nodded proudly. He said to everyone, now do you believe what Pindao said? Xiao Nan nodded repeatedly and said, that's natural. Taoist Master Yunlong, your medical skills are superb, I admire you. He turned around and laughed at Ye Tiance and said, you white-eyed wolf, I almost got fooled by you. I'm just telling you, you're a waste who eats and drinks, how can you know medical skills? It turns out it was all by mistake. Zhang Huilan also scolded, if young Master Ji and the others hadn't exposed it, you would have been able to pretend. You guy who talks nonsense, get out of here. The relatives and friends of the Xiao family even changed their attitudes and started mocking Ye Tiance one after another. Only Wu Xingye and Han Ruoyun still believed in Ye Tiance. However, they don't understand what is going on. At this time, Ye Tiance glanced at Taoist Yunlong. A little surprise flashed in his eyes. He discovered that Taoist Master Yunlong could also use Njin. Although his attainments were not deep, he could use it and master it. Just now, Taoist Master Yunlong was treating Xiao Hongming. On the surface, he was drawing talismans, chanting incantations, and performing Taoist magic. In fact, it activates the dark energy into Xiao Hongming's body, and just uses the remaining ginseng essence in his body to further stimulate the body. It seemed that Taoist Yunlong cured the weak Xiao Hongming. In fact, he did it by borrowing the ginseng essence extracted by Ye Tiance, and this was what Ye Tiance should have done but didn't have time to do. After all, it was this old Taoist priest who took the credit from Ye Tiance. Seeing Ye Tiance, he remained silent. Ji Buduan thought he had given up, so he mocked, "Ha! Why didn't you say anything? You obviously don't have medical skills, but you still take the credit from Taoist Yunlong. Should I kneel down and apologize to Taoist Master Yunlong in public for such a villainous act?" Ye Tiance said calmly, "Please clarify." To be precise, it was Taoist Yunlong who took the credit from me, and he is the one who should apologize. This sentence immediately aroused dissatisfaction among many relatives and friends of the Xiao family. "What are you talking about, you loser? How could Taoist priest Yunlong take credit from you, given his status?" "That's right. We have all seen with our own eyes the methods of Taoist Yunlong. It's simply superb. It's obvious that you took advantage of others, right? You said that Taoist Master Yunlong has robbed you of your work. Do you have the ability to produce evidence? If you can't produce it, then stop beeping. Ye Tiance sneered and said, "Ha! You want evidence, right? I'll let this veteran explain it himself." Talking, he looked at Taoist Yunlong, slowly raised his right hand, and mobilized the dark energy in his body to attach it to the palm of his hand. Circles of invisible power spread out in all directions. Taoist priest Yunlong, who was feeling complacent, trembled violently when he felt this power. His eyes widened, as if he had seen a ghost. This kid actually knows how to be secretly powerful. Taoist Master Yunlong broke into a cold sweat. You must know that he traveled for 10 years and visited many experts before he barely reached the threshold of controlling in Jin, and this kid looks to be only in his 20s, but his proficiency is far beyond his own. Come to think of it, it must have an unimaginably terrifying background. No, I hit the wall today. Ye Tiance shook his palm and asked, Taoist Master Yunlong, why don't you tell me about it? Taoist priest Yunlong trembled, swallowing nervously. He was about to tell the truth. But he saw Xiao Qingcheng standing between him and Ye Tiance. Xiao Qingcheng said seriously, Ye Tiance, Taoist Master Yunlong has a high level of cultivation and doesn't compete with worldly affairs. It's obvious that you have taken away his credit and you are still being aggressive. Are you done with it? Ye Tiance frowned and said, do you really believe him? Xiao Qingcheng met Ye Tiance's gaze, with a face full of disappointment. He shook his head and said, Taoist Master Yunlong has such a high status. I don't believe him. Do I have to believe a villain like you who talks nonsense and makes trouble?